You are now tuned in to the Windy City Benders podcast. This is WCBP.
All right, it's another edition of the WCB podcast. Tanner's back. What's up, bud? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just hanging out in Denver right now.
Hanging out in Denver. Yeah, miss you on the show. It's been pulling teeth going solo the past couple episodes. So glad you're back. I know you kind of came back at a wrong time. There's not really much to talk about. It's a kind of a slow news time for the Blackhawks. So we'll try to power through this episode. But no,
yeah. All right. Love you, boys. See you. Yeah. Bye.
But no, and seriously, again, congratulations on your son.
Thank you.
So excited for you and all that kind of stuff. So I apologize to him that he comes into a rebuild situation. But hopefully he won't even know it happened by the time
I think it sucks that I think that he's not gonna know who like Patrick Kane and like Alex DeBrincat are as a tandem.
That's insane. Or Jonathan Taves as Captain Serious. Like, it's crazy to think about that. Like, new generation is not going to know. It's kind of like us with like, we knew of Mikita Hall and all that, but we didn't experience them. That's going to be.
You didn't really get to see it live and know how special it was. And so now it's just like, those are just memories that we have that we can no longer live through. It's like, fuck.
God, it's depressing.
Yeah, man.
Man, it makes me feel so old too. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's just get right into it. The writing was on the wall. We all knew it was coming.
I mean, it was so I looked up because I was pretty sure about like the 5 stages of grief. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I was going through like the whole time. Denial like crazy. Just like, there's no way. Like, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Absolutely not, like, that's stupid. And then anger. Just, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude. And then it goes bargaining, depression, acceptance. I didn't really get depressed about it, so I kind of skipped that one. But I'm like in a very accepting mode right now.
I think depression will kick when the season starts, and it's just crappy hockey we're watching.
Oh,
that'll
man,
probably be when depression kicks in.
See, the thing that I'm excited about is that they're not trying to play good hockey anymore. So, like, they're going to play, like, beat the shit out of you hockey. So, like, they're going to be a team that you don't want to go against, even though you'll probably win. It's going to be, like, one of those kinds of guys, those teams, and I'm just excited for it.
You think, like, on the physicality part of it, like, they're going to be physical and all that?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say that, though, considering we don't know who's going to play for them.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's either in my head or I did hear previously, it was Luke Richardson was on NHL radio, and he was mentioning that he was like, he knows what he's getting himself into. He knows what to look for in the future. And he's like, we're not going to go down easy though. Like, we're going to be one of those teams that you're going to fucking hate to play. And I was like, good.
I mean, that's all you can really ask for. Don't win.
Yeah.
Be in every game, but lose. That's all we ask. Guaranteed a top 2 pick. That's all you need at this point.
That's all I mean.
And we're gonna get into everything that's going on, but let me ask this. I guess we should probably just talk about the moves really quick. I mean, unless you're living under a rock, you know the moves. So I guess never mind. I'll ask the question first. If the Hawks don't finish with the top 2 pick next year, are you angry at all the stuff that has happened, especially with the Brinket? Or is it just the risk you take?
I think it's just the risk you take. And I think that, like, now that it's all said and done, it's pretty much a great move. Like, I'm sure the package, a lot of people want to say the package wasn't great, but there was no negotiated extension on that at all. He had 1 year left with a qualifying offer going into the next season at $9 million on a young team. So it's like, okay, if you're gonna qualify him, you're gonna be dedicating $9 million for sure, like on those next contracts. And you have guys like Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, even Eric Branson on the back end. Like, they just got rid of Matt Murray to free up some cap, but like you're not having any taste of success yet. Oh, Josh Norris too, Drake Batherton. Oh yeah, they got a good young team. They haven't really got a taste of success yet, but they are dedicating a good amount of money to just one guy that they don't know is going to fit in their system or not yet.
So that move obviously was Alex DeBrincat to Ottawa Senators for the 7th overall pick, the 38th overall pick, and it was a 2024 third round pick.
Yeah, 2024, which is weird to me, but
that was very strange. But my initial reaction to that trade, I think I went through like the stages of grief there. Yeah, like the first was I'm like, no way, this has got to be like a fake account, you know. But then it's like you start seeing it, and then Frank Cervelli, our best friend, tweets out what the take was, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, cool. He at least tweeted out the picks. Let's see who the players are, and the players never came.
Right. Like usually it's like more to come, and it's like, oh. And it's like the asking price was really high. He got nowhere near it.
Allegedly, there was a trade out there though.
Yeah, but
and I don't know if it was
late first, maybe. Like I kind of like the fact that he got a pick in the top 10. Like, not knowing much outside of like the top few guys, I didn't really know what to kind of expect when he chose Korchinski.
I paid no attention to the prospects this year because I was like, well, we don't have a first round pick, so I wasn't paying attention at all.
Yeah. And then, hey, guess what? Now we have 3. Yeah. And like, as crazy as it is, and everybody's like, what's going on in Chicago? Like, they're fucking stupid. It's like, okay, well, I mean, he's saying rebuild. This is how you do it. Like, sure, you don't want to get rid of young players like Kirby Dach and Alex DeBrincat, but maybe he doesn't value Dach as high as what he got back in return. Like maybe, like we've been saying, like maybe he's been stunted in his growth, and he thinks that like, hey, this isn't going to be good, and then he gets offered that kind of package from Montreal where it's a 13th overall and a later pick, I believe.
It was a 66th overall.
66th.
Yeah,
for Kirby Dach, and he's just like, I'm taking it. And honestly, with who he got in the 13th pick of Frank Nazar, not knowing who he was, looking it up after the fact, because like you didn't really expect to like get anything in the first round.
Well, how about draft like right before the Hawks went to go make the 13th pick? I text our group chat and I was like, what's the deal with this Nazar guy? Like, why is he still available and he's ranked so highly? And literally as I hit send, the Chicago Blackhawks with the 13th overall select from the U.S. development team, Frank Nazar, and I was like, okay, I guess that's our problem now. We'll figure this out. So
wasn't it? So the trade was announced at like 11, right? I think Arizona was making the pick because then Montreal traded Romanoff to Islanders for 13th and maybe some other stuff. And then they flipped that 13th to us. I mean,
which is funny too, because when we were going through who we can possibly get a first round pick from, we both said there's no way the Islanders are moving 13.
Right. I didn't think that they no, because like I didn't see them moving 13 to us for anything that we had.
Right.
I didn't expect it to be like a flip from another team, which was pretty fucking sweet. But like what was I gonna say? Yeah, Frank Nazar too. I'm wondering because it was Arizona's pick at 11, and then it was Columbus's pick at 12, and then us. If the plan was to take him because he was best player available on the board, or was it just kind of like they had their eyes on somebody and then he was there and they're like, actually.
Well, it was interesting too. You got to think about it. Guy. I was wondering the same thing because also a little tidbit thing that I kind of noticed, the Hawks were the only team that didn't have a nameplate on their jerseys for their guys.
Well, yeah, because I'm sure they didn't know if those trades were going to go through.
That's okay. That's true too. You would think if they had some idea,
they didn't have set draft positions. So
I just was wondering if they had targets, or if they were just like, oh, well, if this person's here, well, if we get lucky, we get lucky type of thing. Because usually, if like you're attempting to get in, like I mean, you got something in the works kind of thing, so you might have some just in case. That's why I know it's like a very tiny thing, but it was just so interesting that the Hawks were the only team not to do that. But the last first round pick they got was from Toronto, was for Tanner's boy.
Yeah. I've been saying it the whole time. We're gonna take on Mrazek.
Mrazek, the 25th overall pick. to Toronto for the 38th overall pick that the Blackhawks picked up in the DeBrincat trade.
Yeah.
So technically, we traded DeBrincat for the 7th overall, Peter Mrazek, the 25th overall, and a 2024 third-round pick, in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it, Mrazek. I don't hate the idea of him being on there, especially when you need to get to the cap floor and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and you should put a professional goalie out there,
right? Might not have a professional.
Like he has like the experience to play the starting minutes, but that kind of also gives you the time to build up your whatever you have in net behind him, and possibly give them the chance. Like, hey, like this guy's not going to be that great.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and be better than him, work towards it. Like the door's wide open, guys. Like that's kind of what it is. It's basically the same as like before we had Fleury. Also, I got my Fleury shirt on.
Yeah.
And how funny is it? We had him for all of what, like 50 something games.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, never forget. Number 500 happened in Chicago, baby.
Let's go. We will always have that. Forget the fact that we almost ruined his love of the game of hockey and everything like that. But anyways, okay. I kind of hope Mrazek kind of figures it out next year when he's got 1 year left on his deal. When we flip him at the deadline.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, somebody's gonna probably want something like that.
You're gonna have to think about this going forward. That basically everything the Hawks are going to do, whether it's a trade, a signing, or anything like that, it's not the long-term solution. No. Do not get attached to anybody coming to this organization anytime soon. That's not a draft pick.
That's not a Davidson draft pick. I think that's one of those. This is one of the things that I'm also kind of realizing, almost in like a football coach kind of way. You know, when you bring a new coach in, he kind of has his own system, so he wants his own players to fit the system. So it's like whoever is there might just get fucking traded out. I think it's kind of like that. Like Davidson's coming in, and it's a dumpster fire of like a retool, rebuild, not fully kind of screwed the whole thing. No first round pick. The team's really bad. And he's like, okay, we're rebuilding and we're going to tear it the fuck down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense. Like your biggest trade piece to get the rebuild really started and also kind of accelerate the decline is trading DeBrincat, getting in the top 10 pick in this draft. I think he feels like he's sold pretty high on Doc. I think he has a great draft pick in that. The crazy thing for those two draft picks in Korchinski and Nazar is after like we're doing a little research on them, they both seem to have the tools, just missing a full set, and have a pretty high ceiling, especially with Korchinski. Like he's a very offensive minded guy, which I think is going to be great because if you get him, and hopefully if we're keeping Alex Vlasic and we're trying to develop him more and that they become a pairing, like big 6'7" Alex Vlasic with a 6'4" speedy offensive-minded defenseman, like those two guys, like that'd be pretty sick. And then Nazar was kind of regarded as having one of the higher ceilings in the entire draft class.
Yeah,
I think it could be a steal, man.
Definitely. I'm excited for those picks.
Oh yeah, and then we have I forget his last name is like Renzel.
Is that the?
I think it's
guy?
Yeah, the 25th, the kid from Minnesota. He also he got drafted out of Minnesota, but he also played in the USHL.
Was he a high school kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the few high school in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, usually that's pretty good. He's going to University of Minnesota. So, and you said, I think in our group chat that Nazar is going to Michigan.
Yeah.
So they're going to end up playing against each other.
I know I said Michigan stack, but then I forgot like all those guys signed with their teams at the end of last year. I've totally forgot about that as soon as I hit the sign, but nobody corrected me, so I just stayed quiet about it.
Like, whatever.
But no, like you were saying that in the chat as well, is that the main thing is letting these guys develop the right way.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems in Stan Bowman era was they rushed the wrong guys too quick.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys that probably should have been up a little bit quicker sat down way too long.
Yeah, it's guys like Kirby Doc didn't need to play that whole first season.
he just got stuck in that weird limbo,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
he got screwed with coaching. He got screwed with the pandemic. He got screwed with a lot of shit. So I think a fresh start for him is going to be great. I
Kirby
hope he does well.
under St. Louis too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's gonna be a goddamn stud.
Yeah.
Him and Cole Caulfield like learning under St. Louis.
Yep.
Jesus.
It's gonna be good. I hope he has a lot of success. I think he was a really cool player to watch when we got the chance to see him. He had a lot of like really high confidence moments that I think got kind of shattered when he didn't like score for a good decent amount of time. But I still think that he could be a really good player.
I feel for the kid. I really do.
Yeah.
We want him to be good so bad. Forget the fact that we were all kind of like, Bo Byram's a Stanley Cup champion, huh? We could have drafted him early, but
Whatever.
yeah, I feel for Kirby. I'm glad he's
And-
out. The only thing I'm nervous about, he's going to even more ruthless market. So if he continues to play like he did in Chicago, like he is going to get eaten alive in Montreal.
Well, I mean, they also have Slivkovsky coming in. Like their team is young and offensive as hell. Also like Boqvist though too. He was rushed, and then they got rid of him, and now he just signed a new 3-year deal in Columbus, and everybody's super jazzed about him. I don't even know what is. We don't have like any of our previous first round picks except for. Can you guess?
Patrick Kane.
Oh, right. Yeah, I meant like in the 2010s.
Oh, the 2010s? Who was?
Oh, Bowden. Nicholas Bowden.
Oh, yeah, because I saw Barstool Chief posted like a list of all of them, and he like listed Bowden as a bust. I'm like, the kid hasn't even had a chance to play yet. I don't know. You can't even call him a bust.
He's like 21 or 22.
Yeah,
like,
and he's been playing the AHL. You can't call somebody a bust when they haven't. We're not over the age of 25, and they have not played X amount of games in the NHL. That's ridiculous. That's obnoxious.
Do you think that everybody that's in the AHL and developing is a bust?
And that is going to be like the biggest issue with this rebuild, and it's gonna be so frustrating, is just social media, like not even just Blackhawks social media, like general hockey social media is just gonna be shitting on this team and complaining and where this team needs to be and all this kind of thing. First off, it's hypocritical. Everybody has no problem. Arizona was making moves, taking on bad contracts again this draft and all that kind of stuff. People are like, oh, that's a classic Arizona win and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, cool, but the Hawks do it, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's poverty franchise. Like, okay, you don't like Chicago, fuck off. But it's the same exact thing that they're doing. They're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. They're taking advantage of the situation, and they're going for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. What else was I gonna say? Oh, there's a little guy over there. I can't remember. What is?
Talk about, we were talking about Boqvist, we were talking about Bowden.
Yeah. Oh, it's just developing players. Oh yeah, like all the guys in the AHL. Oh, it was going into the defensemen that we have in the pipeline, because it's like Bowden's there, Mitchell's there. Like we have Regula, we have Alex Vlasic. So like, what would you say we should do with guys, like Murphy and McCabe, Seth Jones, and I don't know, like
McCabe and Murphy, I think you're stuck with right now.
I don't know. They both
Murphy,
have modified no trade
I think
clauses.
Murphy can move.
Yeah.
I think we're stuck with McCabe because he was just overvalued when he was signed. $4 million for 3 more years is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like, he's a great guy and all that. Like, I've nothing but good things to say about it from like my experience with him off the ice. But he's not worth $4 million per year.
I think he is. I mean,
really,
these guys led the league basically in block shots and hits. It's like, you know what you're gonna get. It's just the system they were either running or whatever. I mean, was just letting up so many shots. That's probably why they had so many block shots.
I think.
McCabe's younger, doesn't Seth Jones's new contract not kick in until like the 13th or something?
I mean, it's in. What do you mean, like?
So, well, he has a modified no trade clause currently. I'm saying like his new contract, which has a full no move clause.
Oh, like, yeah, technically,
if you wanted to trade him, you do it before the
I
the
think
no
it was
move
no.
clause comes?
I think they stuck with July 1st.
Is it?
I think so.
I thought I saw somewhere it was the 13th, but okay.
I don't know,
Well,
but
no, because July 1st is usually free agency
yeah.
opening.
So I think they left it
So
at.
it's
So I think that's the standard day because they're going back to July 1st next year as the open
okay.
to free agency. So I think they just kind of
Either
kept it
way.
as because that's when bonuses were paid out and all that kind of stuff too. So they didn't mess with that money.
I'm sure. Like I think. Either way, if you're Seth Jones, wouldn't you want to just like be traded though?
I'm really wondering how he's feeling. Like
No.
you get sold on okay, you're gonna play with the Brinkett, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves. You have this, great support players in Hagel, Doc is coming up. You got all these guys. Oh, you're gone. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's going to be gone. Oh, he wants to be gone. Like, at what point do you say, okay, well, trade me right fucking now?
Yeah. And if I'm him, I'd say like, hey, or not him. If I was the Blackhawks, I'd be like contacting like Seattle. Hey, you guys want a top two defenseman? Wink. Top two?
He's top two. Don't wink needed.
No, I know, but like
What would
that
you give up
team
for him, though?
is sick. They got Shane Wright. I don't care.
They
Future
got
considerations.
they got 3 second rounders, 2 third rounders, 3 fourth rounders for next year, 2 6 rounders.
I mean, so like GMs value players like much differently than like the fans do.
Right.
So I'm sure around the league, the GMs probably value him a little bit higher, especially if let's say we were to eat 2 million of that cap for the whole 8 years. So with Seth Jones at 7.5, yeah, I know, right? That a Seth Jones at 7.5, I think is kind of an attractive offer for some teams, and that could probably fetch a first round pick.
I mean, they could build around Seth Jones as like the Giordano type player, like the captain, the leader, and how they had Giordano.
Yeah, I mean, and then they have Berniers. Is it Berniers? Yeah, and then Shane Wright coming in. That's going to be a nasty young
God.
tandem.
How about Shane Wright just staring down Montreal's table when he was taking his picture with Batman? Oh,
dude, I love it. I love it. It's the same. It reminded me of the same shit that happened last time I was in Montreal, and Zadina got passed up by the Canadians, and he goes and does his interview afterwards, and he goes, "I'm gonna fill their net with so many pucks." Just every team that passed him up, he said he's gonna fill their net with pucks.
And it has not been going well.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Some players just don't fit in all those kinds of systems. But was he? I think he was the last draft that they had before Yzerman took over, though.
I think so too.
And
I was saying him trade to Brinkett to Detroit.
Yeah.
Let him go home. We'll take their 8th overall, and then like toss in like Zadina.
Well, we got 7th instead.
Well, no, I'm just saying though, like originally I was kind of like, that was one thing I was kind of playing
Yeah.
around with. And then it was like, I was like, you know what? Detroit would make sense. Cause I did not have Ottawa at all on the radar at all. Like there was last team besides like Montreal, New Jersey, I thought maybe was an option, but yeah, never would have said Senators.
Yeah. And that was kind of crazy the way the whole draft went down too, with the way it started. When it went Slafkovsky, and I was like, oh, okay, so Wright's going to New Jersey, and they're like, we don't need him. We got enough centers. It's like, yeah, Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna have him do? Play third line center?
Oh my god, that would.
So you go and get like the top defensive prospect. It's like, all right, and then Arizona's like, weird situation we're put in. We already have his name on the jersey. We're just gonna go with the guy that we thought.
Yeah,
we
was
our
GM Armstrong? He's like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. Oh shit.
He's like, can we unstitch that real quick? We have 3 minutes to put the pick in. They're like, no, man, it's heat pressed on.
I sat there and I'm like, okay, Arizona doesn't need him. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll fall. There's only 3 more spots. Maybe he'll fall. Then I was like, no, Seattle, of course, is gonna take him. If anybody in any team really needed him, it was Seattle.
Ron Francis wakes up and he's like, what?
Yeah, right.
It's like, can't mess this one up like I did the expansion draft.
Oh god, so bad. So besides those trades that happened on the draft, more of the picture for the rebuild kind of cleared up today. Qualifying offers, Caleb Jones and Philip Kurashev were the only two qualifying offers the Hawks extended. There's a bunch that weren't qualified, but the three notable ones were Dylan Strome, Dominic Kubalik, and was it Wyatt Kalynuk? I always forget his first name.
Yeah, Wyatt.
And
then I think there was like a couple more like Alt-American.
Yeah, it was like Cam Morrison or something, or
Morris. Yeah, Cam Morris, who was a goalie. Cam Morrison, who was actually in a trade. Guys that just like weren't gonna make it. I don't know. I feel like this is Davidson just kind of clearing the shelves, because everybody's like, oh well, like why wouldn't you just like sign and like trade Kubalik or do it for Strome? It's like, does anybody not remember the last like 2-3 years that they've been trying to move Strome?
Yeah.
And then this past season, I think they're trying to move Kubalik. It's like, why are we gonna keep pushing this? Like Strome is good when he's with DeBrincat and Kane.
Exactly. Is it bad that too when DeBrincat got traded, I was like, everybody said that he's only good because he plays with Patrick Kane. I hope that's true. Like part of me was like,
no, right? Except for the fact that they said that when it was playing with Connor McDavid and Dylan Strome.
Yeah, I'm just like, God, like.
I hope he doesn't do as well. He's gonna end up doing the same thing Panarin did to us, where he's gonna just like increase his points every year until he's like a Hart nominee, and you're just like, fuck me. But I mean,
no secret, I'm happy with Strome.
At least it wasn't like getting a player back that we just getting the boys back together,
Right. But Strome not coming back, I'm okay with that. Kubalik back, like what you said with Doc. Yeah. He got snake bitten and he could not figure it out. Like he had the worst luck, I felt like, puck luck and all that. Like he had opportunities and it just was not going in for him, and that really messed him mentally.
And then he wasn't on the top power play anymore, and like he wasn't like a defensively great player on an already pretty poor defensive team. So like, I mean, just cut the guy loose. It's okay. Everybody wants to be like asset management. It's like, I don't know, man. Trying to just fill cap space with players that you've been trying to move and have not been able to do it seems like a dumb idea too. One of the funny things about the qualifying offer for Strome is his brother Matthew Strome in Philadelphia also didn't get qualified, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Strome is also going to be a free agent.
Yeah, he's going to free agency.
So all three brothers are going to be in free agents. Maybe they all sign somewhere.
Speaking of Kubalik, I don't know, was he qualified last year or was he like a contract?
No, he had a multi-year deal, I think.
Gotcha. Okay, because I was going to say,
he was making like 4.5 or something.
This show, because I thought he was qualified, so I was mistaken. I was going to say this kind of shows that again how poor decision making Sam Bowman was, because you put your money on Kubalik instead of P.S. Suter.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have P.S. Suter like as another, but he probably would have been dealt too at this point. But he would have been a cool piece to kind of maybe build around a little bit. But and then Wyatt Kalynuk he was another unfortunate situation that I think he was established himself as an everyday defenseman for this team, and unfortunately he got hurt and he just could not get his spot back.
Yeah, they brought in Gustafson, and then they're like, "Yeah, you guys are basically the same."
Yeah,
and he's been here longer and kind of like has a little bit more poise on the ice, I guess.
Yeah, like Regular coming up and all those kind of guys kind of
they show they don't need him. Yeah, Kalynuk's about 25, 26 at this point, and the Hawks have like a ton of young defensemen that they're trying to like move in. I'm pretty sure he's 25. Like, it's one of those things where maybe he can do something, maybe he can't, but the Hawks are going to be going in a direction of let's get these young guys as much ice time on that team in the AHL. And I'm excited to see what they do in free agency, because you're going to be seeing a team that's built of a lot of like random pieces that are like guys that are going to be, hey man, come in, play some hockey. Maybe we can deal you at the deadline. Like,
people want us, the Vegas Golden Knights want to call themselves the Band of Misfits. No. We're going to show you a band of misfits.
This is going to basically be an expansion team.
100%. Yeah. And it's going to be so bad. So
And
Davidson, just give us fucking Kessel and let us get our jerseys.
that'd be
And
hilarious.
then you can trade him. I don't care.
I think one of the things that I kind of enjoy about Davidson too right now is like, since he's just like, we're doing a rebuild, like this is what we need to do for this team to be successful in the future. It's kind of the opposite of Bowman being like, what do you want, Kane and Taves? Like we're trying to do this, we're trying to do, and it's just making shit moves after shit moves. And he's just like, I'm gonna do it. If you guys get pissed off, guess what? Ask for a trade. We'll move you guys to, we'll get better, we'll get more picks, and we'll make our team way better in the future much sooner than like I want Kane and Taves to be here forever. Doesn't make sense for them to be here anymore though.
No. And it's like I don't want to seem like I hate Kyle Davidson, because it's like it's not that I hate him. I just I'm having a hard time trust. I can't trust again. Bowman ruined it for me. I can't trust another GM just yet. And two, it's a little, as much as I've grown okay with this whole rebuild situation and what we're doing and all that, not him really not showing his cards of like what the plan actually is besides tearing it down, and not really knowing what the direction is, like who's coming in. How are you doing this? Are you looking at bringing in a young free agent to build around? Or are you just straight up trying to bring in more pieces to get more picks for more prospects? Like, not really knowing that is just making me a little uneasy and a little nervous. And it's just a hard time kind of trusting the process when all we know right now is you on the team, you're gone. You playing the Blackhawks sort of last year, chances are you're not wearing it next year.
Dude, the analogy I came up in my head was we've been watching this studly horse that we love just win, win, win. And now it's gotten old and it's got a broken leg. We got to put it down.
Put it down.
None of us want to do it. That's when Kyle Davidson steps in, and he looks us right in the fucking eyes as he pulls the trigger on this fucking horse's head. And we hate him for it, but I feel like in the end we're going to be pretty grateful, because what we loved it's gone now, but there's going to be something new in its place, and he's building that. And I'm kind of excited because like we've been rooting for the same team for so long,
right?
And
it's
like,
fun.
right,
no,
man.
It's definitely fun to see it kind of like going. It's just like we said, like how fast it happened. Yeah, and it's jarring. Just like it wasn't like a, okay, here's one player gone, all right, here's another player gone. It was Kirby Doc or DeBrincat, then an hour later Kirby Doc.
Not even an hour later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. It was like an hour before the draft.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I was watching the draft and I was just like, oh my god, okay. And then I went, took a piss, and I could hear the TV, and then I'm like, oh, 2 trades, okay, Kirby Doc, and I was like, what? What is happening?
It was like, it's not like another analogy. It's not like, you're stepping in the shallow end of the pool, just trying to get your settings all right. No, he's the drunk dad at the pool, grabbing you, throwing you at the deep end, forgetting to put on your floaties on, and just tossing you in the 10-foot deep side of the pool, and just, okay, time to swim. Like, that's exactly how this is going.
Well, we're gonna drown at first, but I'm gonna teach you how to swim. Yeah.
But I mean, how much pressure is on Kyle Davidson, you think? Because I mean, you got to admit, nobody thinks that moving to Brinkett was the right move. Not one hockey analyst, hockey expert, anything like that has said, you know what, moving Davidson's or moving to Brinkett was the right move. Davidson did the smart thing. Everybody's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So like, you almost got to say,
so.
Fair, but it's like, though, if this ends up backfiring and say this 3 to 5 year rebuild turns into like 5 to 10, and in that meantime DeBrincat's won multiple cups, multiple like Hart Trophy, like he goes on to be this huge stud. I mean, at what point do you be like, all right, Davidson, you fucking suck? Like, what were you doing?
I mean, depending on how we're doing.
It's like 90 to 2007. 90? After we lost the Stanley Cup in 92 or whatever to 2007. I know we had one playoff run in there, but it was 4 games against St. Louis and we got swept. So,
well, I think, I don't know. I'm just all about like this new plan is get young, create cap space. That was the other thing too with the buyouts that he was doing recently.
Oh yeah, which was Brett Connolly and Borgstrom.
Henrik Borgstrom. And I had seen people commenting online like, why would you buy them out? And like, what do you need cap space for? It's like, what do you mean? What do we need cap space for? It's like we're gonna try and take on like cap hits from other teams like right around the deadline and get first round picks. Why not maximize the space that we have by using these buyouts?
So, another thing we didn't even mention, Duncan Keith retired.
Yeah.
So Duncan Keith also has a recapture penalty.
Yeah.
So this year, the Hawks between the buyouts and Duncan Keith are paying just under $7 million to those guys, or their cap's getting hit by $7 million. I don't know if they're actually paying Duncan Keith that money or not, if it's just a penalty on the cap. And then next year it's just under like $4 million.
Yeah.
And theoretically, that's 2 years. Year 3 is when you might start seeing them like, okay, let's start bringing in pieces to take that next step, to compete again. So it's like, now's the time to do that kind of stuff. And you don't want to extend that 2 more years by buying them out next year.
I'm wondering who they're going to like. I wonder what teams are going to be looking to drop guys for salary reasons around the deadline to create space.
I'm surprised Pittsburgh hasn't reached out yet to try to get Malkin re-signed.
What do you mean?
Because isn't it a cap kind of a cap issue with Malkin?
Oh, you mean getting somebody off of Pittsburgh so that they can get Malkin?
They can get Malkin signed.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Hawks were just like, nah.
Vegas is
like how many years does like Zucker have?
Zucker?
Yeah. Like who would you take the yeah 1 year?
Cap is throwing me off now. All these teams are like flip flop where they're normally at.
Yeah, Zucker would have made sense if like they wanted to move him, but maybe Davidson was just like, he's gonna make our team too good.
Yeah,
I just hope that like we keep getting more young pieces, like first round picks. But I don't know how we would do that unless it's like taking on cap hit. But it's funny though. Even though we do have 7 million dead cap space, we're not a contending team. Unlike Minnesota, who's 14 million. I love bringing that up every time.
I know. It's just nice that and they somehow still sign Marc-Andre.
Mm-hmm.
They re-signed somebody else too, I think, recently. And I don't know how they're still doing it. I know they had to trade Fiala.
Yeah, they traded Fiala because he was not going to do anything. Like I kind of wish that when Bowman was GM would have realized either go in like Pittsburgh or do like the quick rebuild like LA did. LA got kind of lucky. But I mean, right now they're signing and they're trading and signing guys. Like they traded for Victor Arvidsson last year. They signed Philip Deneau, and now they traded and signed Kevin Fiala. And like those are kind of like low key, really fucking good moves. Because like we also have Deneau play against Connor McDavid in the playoffs, and he was just shutting him down like crazy. And now they're adding another piece, and then they're getting more from out of their young guys. They still have Andrzej Kopitar leading that fucking team. They also don't have Dustin Brown anymore, which is a big plus.
No potato man.
Yeah. And it's just like that team is getting ready to just be back in the playoffs every year again.
Do you think all right, so no matter what, Stan Bowman was going to be gone next year because of this last year because of everything that happened off ice. We don't have to bring it up again, but we know he was not going to be on this team. If he would have stuck with his original rebuild plan and didn't go for Seth Jones, didn't go bring in Marc-Andre Fleury, do you think this teardown is as drastic?
No. Absolutely not. Like we traded DeBrincat because we needed a first rounder.
Right.
And like he was our best piece to get in a first rounder.
Or do you still trade DeBrincat and keep Doc or like
I don't think it would be as crazy. Like I don't even know like what we would be doing.
So what you're
saying, there would be we would have 9.5 million more in cap space.
Right.
We wouldn't have an anchor contract on the defensive side. Like our two most expensive defensemen would be McCabe and Murphy. Like that's something that you can still build with without having to move out like DeBrincat or Doc. You would have your own first rounder, which
I
would
still love Seth
probably would have been
Jones.
worse. We probably would have had a much higher pick this year too,
Yeah.
without Fleury and without Seth
Still would have had
Jones.
that 6 overall pick or whatever.
Oh, from last year, the 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have had, was it Cole Perfetti that they got? Or was he Cole Perfetti the ones that in Winnipeg?
That's Winnipeg. Well, we
Shit,
would have,
what's his
yeah,
name?
we would have had the pick
Or
last
you
year. We would have had this
could have
year's
had him.
pick. So we wouldn't need to get in the first round.
Cole Sillinger. We could have gotten
Yeah.
him. He's the youngest kid in the NHL last year and holding his own. A lot of things could have gone a lot more differently if he had not decided to utilize his cap space to bring in Tyler Johnson, Seth Jones, and Marc-Andre Fleury. Like we could have kept like Boqvist,
Oh my
let
God.
him possibly develop. It's just like
we're sitting here talking about
shit fucking off season.
We're sitting here talking about who's gonna play for this team. Until you just brought up his name, I forgot Tyler Johnson was on this team.
Yeah. That's because he played all of like 20 games last year.
I know. I feel so bad for the guy. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, and he just gets forgetting about.
Dude, Reese Johnson's my favorite Johnson. I'm excited to see more of like Reese Johnson out there. Reese Johnson, Kyra, who else? I wonder if Curtis Gabriel's gonna get some time.
He's a free agent.
He's a UFA, but he can still be signed.
I don't think there's a guarantee.
I follow him on Instagram, and he's been working out with the Hawks.
Has he? Yeah, I know. I see him always wearing like the Blackhawks stuff on it, but
ooh, yeah, Josiah Slavin get some more time playing up. Who else? Man, it looks like there's like no one on this. There's more defensemen in our non-rostered players than there are forwards. Jeez. Oh yeah, Taylor Radish. Boris Kachuk will get a bigger role. Oh, Mike Hardman. I forgot. Yeah, you know what? Mike Hardman, Mackenzie Entwistle, like those kinds of guys. Hardman, Entwistle, Kyra, and Reese Johnson are going to be like the guys that we're going to probably be signing in the free agency that are just going to go into the corners and make everybody's life living hell.
I saw something too. It was like, oh, pencil Lafferty as 1C power play.
Lafferty.
Yeah.
Lafferty. Dude, that Lafferty was just going off at the end of last season. And like,
he's safe because he was signed by Davidson.
Does he not? I don't know what he has. Yeah, dude. Oh, that was like his first trade.
Yeah, too. Nylander.
Oh no, his first trade was Malcolm Subban for future considerations. But then he did Alex Nylander, who also just re-signed in Pittsburgh. But
it's so funny. Look at it, the moves he's made. It's like, oh, you fucked up here, but this wasn't bad. Oh, but this he's just evening out right now. It's like he needs to let's see some grit. Let's see what happens when you're going all in. I can't wait to. I really am excited to see what that is. And
yeah, his first offseason. I think honestly, with how crazy, or still I'll say it again, like with how crazy everybody said, like, oh, like what is Chicago doing? I think he did great getting 3 first-round draft picks. Like we're building for the future. Like we don't need to sustain what we are currently doing because the team is trash.
Right. I think a lot of people that are listening to this are going to be very surprised that we're not more angry about what has happened.
Yeah, that's because
it happened in our group. It happened in our group text. We were kind of like, what the fuck? But overall, like, I think as time heals and you see the big picture of stuff, even if this big picture is still kind of fuzzy a little bit, I mean, it's the right move. It's the right play. Yeah. It's the right time to do it. And you can either punt the ball down the field a little bit longer and keep doing the stand plan, or you rip the Band-Aid off and you start fresh. And I'm glad we're starting fresh. And yeah, I mean, the only other thing that really has come out of this is Patrick Kane is reportedly furious about this. He's furious with the front office. And on Wednesday, when free agency opens, he's going to be requesting a trade out of Chicago with his number 1 target being the New York Rangers. Which
I think that'd be sick.
dope to see Kane and Panarin together again. Oh,
Yeah. I would get a Kane or Rangers jersey.
you get a Lady Liberty one too, because they're doing reverse retro again next year. They bring back a new version of that.
I have his reverse retro on the Hawks. Might have to get the reverse retro on the Rangers. But it would be so sick. Can you imagine what they would have to give up to get Kaner?
Apparently, I don't think a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At least a first, and maybe like Philip Hedl or like
You might.
Kakko.
I think you take the Brinkets trade as like the base.
It's clearly going to be just a rental, but it's a five. I'm assuming it would be like a $5 million Kaner.
Oh yeah, 100%
5.25.
eating 50% of that contract.
Yeah,
no question. Now the question is, can you get somebody to take Jonathan Toews at 50%?
I'm sure there's somebody would.
I think if you get a third team and have them take 50% too, do one of those like the Laner trade from how Toronto technically had Laner on their book for X amount when he got traded to Vegas.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Tays is like that would be a deadline deal that we mentioned before. Because that's when you see the teams that are looking for second or third line center after behind their established guy and maybe have suffered an injury and have the cap space opened up for a $5 million Tays.
It's been strangely quiet from Taves, like Taves camp and all that kind of stuff. Like you haven't heard anything from him about how he's feeling all this, which is very weird because he was very vocal when Hagel was traded.
I'm just trying to look at like Rangers draft picks. Like if we can get maybe their 2021 prospect that they got in the first round. I don't even know anything about this kid, but I'm just saying like if he was a 16th overall, I mean, he could end up being good. They've been drafting really well in the last few years, so like I wouldn't doubt that he's pretty good, or he'll end up being pretty good. Something like a couple picks, maybe a kid or two that hasn't made it to the show yet. Hey, let's do it.
Patrick Kane, if you do it before the season starts, Patrick Kane, for your first rounder, and Capo Caco.
I don't want Capo Caco. It's just Kirby Doc again. Like unless we like flip him to another team. That's what I'm saying. Like their 2021 first round pick. What is this kid's name? I literally just saw it. It was just something strange. It's Brennan Othman. Othman. Sounds like
a lisp.
Yeah, but it's Othmann. I'm just with their current draft history, I would assume that this kid's gonna end up being pretty decent. Shit. Last year he was playing in the OHL 66 games, 97 points. Give us that kid.
Are they gonna give that kid up though for a rental?
For a Kane? That's gonna literally be
one cup.
You are going straight to the fucking playoffs. You have Panarin and Kane together.
God, how
making
excited
17 million about for the two of them.
I would love to see the first game Panarin or they score a big goal, and as Kane's going down to do his heartbreaker, you got Panarin in the background just doing his high kick, like just the dual celebration of the two guys.
Yeah, he would easily become their first. They don't have like any like good right wingers right now. How much?
People keep saying Colorado.
They have 10 million.
People keep saying Colorado, and I don't know how Colorado can afford that.
I do, because Nathan McKinnon doesn't get a deal till next year. It would be another just cup run. You mean having Rantanen and fucking Kaner down the right side? Jesus.
And you're saying you want to see teams struggle after they do good. You're just giving them another. You're just giving them another Tampa Bay 2.0.
Kane would be sick. Kane would be so sick on so many teams.
Except nobody values Kane like we do. Everybody thinks that Kane's not.
I don't give a shit what
I know, and that's what I don't understand. Like people are like, "Oh no, Kane's washed. He's not." He's like, "No, he's not. His numbers were down on a bad team, and I'm not sure he was 100% healthy for the entire season either."
Oh, I don't think so either. His like shooting was down. But man, that's what I'm saying. Like, we gotta. If Kyle Davidson can somehow get out of this 8-year Seth Jones contract that Bowman fucking signed, I think that's going to be a miracle, no matter
If
what
he
what
does
gets
that,
back.
I mean, hats off to him, man. I put all my faith into him. But
That's what I'm saying. If he eats, let's think about it right now. He eats $2 million a year for the next 8 years. Seth Jones 7.5. I think he can get a first rounder from some team.
I
We're
think
looking
first is
at
still a stretch,
we're
man.
looking we're looking at we're looking at our next 2 years of being just not very good, and then the 3 years after that are going to be those young guys that were getting these past few drafts, working their way up. They're still in the ELCs. We're not burning cash at that moment. It's about 5 years. Hopefully, we're going to be contending then.
Well,
You're only on the hook for 3. You're only on the hook for 3 years of $2 million.
year 3 is also when
Plus,
the
hopefully
cap's
the cap
supposed to
goes
go
up.
up.
Yeah, and hopefully the cap's going up. So strap us in for a couple mil for 8 years. Whatever. Team's not going to be good for another 5.
Sorry, I just got the list of unrestricted free agents. Nick Leddy's only 31 years old. Why does it feel like he should be 40?
I don't know.
I feel like
I guess he was only like
forever.
21,
Insane.
22. Yeah, I'm wondering who the Hawks are going to get in free agency. I'm excited because it's like with all of the moves that he's made, we have so many roster spots that could be filled. So he has the ability to be so much more active than they have been in the past.
It's
He's
like
got 18 million currently
Yeah.
in cap space.
And like I
It's
said,
not like he's
kinda,
going after like Malkin or anything like that,
Right.
or Giroux.
like I was saying though, like in our group chat too, it's like he could totally wait a couple days, see how the free agency market is shaping up, see the guys that are maybe asking for way too much, and be like, hey, we'll give you a 1-year deal. Come on in, put the numbers up. Trade deadline, we'll flip you to a contender, and then you get to go through, prove yourself again, and have more power in your corner going into free agency next year.
Yeah, I mean it's really just offering guys ice time. Hey, like you've been playing third, fourth line the last few years. Come here, we'll get you second line ice time, maybe second power play, depending on if Kaner actually stays or not.
And think about, so you're talking about like Hardman and Reese Johnson, all this kind of guy. Best type of player to probably think about for free agency is like another Yanmark type of thing.
Oh yeah, like a two-way guy.
100%. Like
the type of guy that's gonna be drawing a lot of attention around the trade deadline. And I mean, there's also all those unsigned guys that didn't get drafted. Like, give those guys a shot. There's tons of kids just like Brandon Hagel. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of other players out there that can want to come in and contribute no matter what.
You think Evan Barrett gets a shot?
I don't know. I don't even know how well he's been doing in
the forgotten guy,
Rockford. I'm just, man, like it's depressing how it's shaken out, but it's also just like exciting to see where it's going to go from here, because who knows? 28 points in 63 games. That's what Evan Barrett got. I don't know. He probably gets a shot. Why not? Give everybody a shot.
Right. There's no reason why not to. Any more thoughts on the Blackhawks?
No, I mean, no. I can't wait till Wednesday.
If you were a fan that's on the ledge right now, yes, it's going to be fucking rough. It's going to be ugly. It's not going to be fun, but step back.
Because it's the life cycle of sports teams, right? Unless you're the Yankees.
Well, it's been a while since the Yankees actually won anything, so
yeah,
it's been like I think last decade was the first decade that the Yankees
didn't win.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so, and hey, chances are too, if you're a Chicago Blackhawk fan, chances are you're a Cubs fan too. And hey, we go through this shit way more often with the Cubs than we do with the Blackhawks. Yeah. So you'll survive. Relax.
And I mean, maybe you're a Bears fan, and guess what? This is the way it's always been.
2005 was the last time the Bears competed.
Yeah.
But hey, look at the bright side. You're going to see some young players that you might not have normally gotten a chance to watch. You're going to get to watch them fairly cheap because aftermarket tickets are going to be very cheap.
Yeah.
And if they do really bad this year, they'll probably lower ticket prices again next year. So you can maybe scoop in and get some season tickets for a lot cheaper for when they are. So you're ready for when they are good.
I like that.
So there's some positives. Tanner, I do not want to keep you much longer so you can get back to the little guy. But NHL talk really quick.
Yes.
Oh, real quick. One more thing, hot talk. Sorry. Derek King and Kevin Dean were named assistant coaches. So it's cool to see Derek King still in the fold. I'm just glad it's not the head coach. But all right, so NHL talk, notable moves or lack of moves coming. We talked about a little bit. Matt Murray got traded to Toronto. Ottawa's also 25% of that contract. They're also giving up I think it's a second round and a fourth round pick. I don't know. They're giving 2 picks over to Toronto too for future consideration. Malkin's feeling disrespected and that felt unwanted in Pittsburgh. So he is going to be testing free agency. It is going to be super interesting where he goes.
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. Jack Campbell and Darcy Kemper are kind of like the bells of the ball when it comes to goalie situations. A couple teams looking for their starter.
Edmonton, Washington,
and for some reason Toronto didn't want Jack Campbell, which made no sense because he wanted to be there. But we know how that is. DeBrincat wanted to be in Chicago, and he just goes.
The nicest guy in hockey too.
Yeah.
I think it's also kind of funny that Washington went through this season and they're like, all right, let's see who can do it. And at the end of the season, they're like, neither of you can do it. See you later. Vanacek gets sent to New Jersey, and then they don't even qualify Samsonov. Just like, we don't need this. I saw a tweet that was saying his qualifying offer for Samsonov was around 3 to 3.4. They thought it was going to end up being what they were going to call fair. And they were like, that's too much to pay for a clear backup.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense. I mean, they're being smart about it. I mean, maybe they bring him back. Maybe they do have a deal or something that's like a lot cheaper or something. But the Campbell thing, that was kind of funny to me. I listened to Chicklets for the first time in a while because they had Cider on, and I wanted to listen to his interview. He's an awesome dude. He's really cool.
He is.
He's the new Datsuk. I hate that he's on Detroit because I would love him if he was on any other team. But they were talking about Campbell, and they're like, why? They're asking the same thing. Why does Toronto not want him back, kind of thing? And Whitney goes, well, you know what? When I saw him walking his cat on leashes, I automatically go, that's not the kind of guy I want in my locker room. Like, that is just too weird. Like, that's taking weird goalie to another level. So that's always, I always laugh about that. And I want to hear Jack Campbell. I don't really know too much else is going on. I guess we can do a quick look at Hockey Reddit to see if anything else dropped.
Alexander Georgiev, he went to the Avalanche. That's why Kemper is not getting re-signed. Right. Ville Husso went to the Red Wings for like a third
round pick, and he signed like a 3 or 4 by
4.7 or some shit like that.
4.75.
Watch him be insane because it's Yzerman, and everything he's doing just turns into gold. But now it's him and Nedeljkovic, in Detroit.
That's not a bad one too.
No, Tony DeAngelo went to the Flyers for like a handful of picks.
Georgiev too re-signed 3-year, 3.4 per. That was another that came through.
I also think it's so weird when people say like he re-signed. And it's not, I'm sure you just read it like that because like that's what they type it out, but it's not like he never signed with that team in the first place, but because they hold his rights,
right?
Then it's technically re-signing. It's like, I'd say like they got him signed. Like
got him signed. Yeah. Big re-signing, Philip Forsberg, in Nashville, 8 by 8.5.
Dude, I don't understand how Nashville keeps getting everybody for $8 million. They're like, how about we don't go over 9 for anyone?
Well, it's the same thing. It's like
$8.5 for Philip Forsberg, $8 million for Matt Duchene, $8 million for Ryan Johansson. Oh, they went $9 million on Roman Josi.
But they don't have the state tax, so they're able to probably make that pitch a little bit like, hey, this $8 million is really truly $8 million versus if you were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
DeAngelo signs in Philly for 2 years, 5 per, which is just ridiculous. And like we said in our group chat too, I cannot wait to see Torts first DeAngelo. Like the Civil War in Philly is going to be amazing. And then really quick too, Marc Andre, 2 years, 3.5 per. Also starts a whole nice little war between Cam Talbot's agent and
Oh yeah,
Aaron.
apparently that wasn't even about like Cam Talbot wanted to be traded. He just wants an extension.
Oh, is that what it ended up being about?
Yeah.
Weird way,
The
weird
way it was
way.
worded was like, oh, like he better. What was it? He's like, oh, he has some thinking to do. And Bill Guerin's like, I don't got to fucking do shit.
Yeah, I don't do shit.
He is under contract on our team. We want Cam to be here. We want him here so he can win. Don't have to do shit about it. I love that response. It was great.
Yeah, that was amazing. And the last one signing that I'm gonna bring up now, and then we can call it a day. Chris Letang, 6 years at 6.1 per. That'll take him up to 41 years old. And they tweeted out as soon as it signed, like, a Penguin for life. And I said, save this tweet for when he gets traded to another team for LTIR. I know he's still technically be a Penguin for life, but it's gonna be so funny when they try to like blow that or get rid of that contract when he's.
I don't even know if they would be like, or if they want to, because at that point Crosby's also 40. Like they're probably they're just in their twilight years, you know, like playing hockey, old guys out there trying to just teach the young guys.
Which really makes the whole Malkin situation kind of weird to me.
Yeah, well, I just got the trade breaker update that they're signing Rickard Rakell for like 6 years at $5 million.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're just shoving it in Malkin's face now, like, fuck you.
Well, they had offered him like something, and I guess it was term that he was looking for more term. Yeah. But he's also what, 36, 37? And so they were like, man, we're not going to give you 4 years, but that would probably take him to 41, which is what they just did for fucking Letang.
That's why I'm like, it's weird. It's very weird. Why not just Joe Thornton it, honestly?
Oh, he's only 35.
They're both 35.
Letang's 35 too. Okay. Well, he would have been, I don't know. That's
Crosby's 34. Like, they signed Russ. That was the other guy they signed recently.
That was not, I think that was last year.
Was it?
It was, his signing date was May 21st, 2022.
Oh, so
it was a couple months ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Pittsburgh's a weird situation. It's kind of, I feel shady for them. At least the Hawks are just straight up saying, hey, we told you this was coming, so it's your choice if you want to stay or not. Yeah. Pittsburgh's just like, nope, get the fuck out. So
see ya. We want Alex Nylander.
Yeah. They just re-signed him too.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said that earlier.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, sorry. All right. You got anything else?
Free agency, man.
Wednesday.
Let's hope it's another wild one.
God, I wish I was off so I can just live stream the free agency as it unfolds.
Are they doing any kind of like free agent frenzy kind of thing like they used to, or is it kind of over because it's kind of stupid?
I'm sure they'll have something on like NHL Network or whatever, but all right. So episode 184, Tanner, what do you want to call it?
Tear it down. Is that something it sounds like something we said recently.
I will look. Do you have a backup option just in case?
Love you, DeBrincat and Doc. And Dunks. Nah, you don't have to add Keith. We already fucking did something for him.
Yeah. Do they retire Keith's number this year?
Can you do like a DeBrincat and Doc like broken heart with both of their names with the broken heart in the middle?
Maybe this will be the first time that I do like a custom like YouTube like cover or like cover for the episode, and it'll just be a broken heart with DeBrincat and Doc just sitting on each side of the broken heart.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Do they retire Keith's number this year or next year?
When is Seabrook's contract up? They retire them together.
You retire them together?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course Tampa Bay's at the top of cap friendly. Seabrook's got 2 years left on his deal, so
at that point
they might retire him early.
They might be able to get Taves on that one too. I have a feeling Taves is done after this year.
Oh yeah.
I think the last holdout on that team is gonna be Kane.
Yeah, probably. I think Kane's got like at least 6 more years in him.
Well, I just did be a GM mode in in NHL 22, did a new
How'd that
franchise.
go?
And Kane retired in the year 2023, or no, sorry, 2030.
Oh,
2030
okay.
at 40 years old.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what, 6 years?
No.
Is he 33 or 32?
He's 33 right now.
7 years.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Fun shit.
All right. So episode 184, name to be determined based on previous episodes. But make sure to check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us there. 5-star reviews. You know all the good stuff. Social media at WCB Podcast. And we will be back soon.
Yeah. Love you, boys. Bye.
The Windy City Benders Podcast. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. And follow the boys on socials at WCB Podcast.